When it comes to corporate presentations, shadows are frowned upon and are often dismissed as decorative fluff or relic of the past. There are good reasons for this. The most important one is shadows fall under the realm of 3D, which is hard to grasp for people without art background. They're like music in that sense. We all know what good music sounds like, but coming up with our own music, that's an entirely different thing. Add to that, PowerPoint's default shadow presets tend to be blunt instruments. Most of them come with harsh angles, unrealistic blur, and inconsistent lighting. These presets have not been updated to keep up with modern graphic standards. So when these effects get used as is, they can easily clutter a slide or distract from its message, and frankly, they just look bad. As a result, shadows get a bad rep and are shunned by companies at large. That said, shadows are a fundamental aspect of art and graphic design. When applied with intention and finesse, shadows become a powerful design tool that can enhance clarity, hierarchy, and visual communication. In this video, I want to show you 12 shadow settings that are inspired by CSS box shadows. CSS box shadows are used by professional website designers, and you can see them all around you. Check out any modern website and chances are you will come across one on the first page itself. In fact, let's look at a few famous examples. Here are two screenshots from Airbnb website. You will notice that the search box has a bottom heavy shadow, and this bottom box has an even soft shadow all around it. Next we have Apple. Here you will notice we have an even soft center shadow. On this right hand side, these images have shadows around them. There is also a subtle shadow below this bar here. Next we have this simple example from Box. You will notice these two buttons have shadows underneath them. Then the famous Google search bar. We have an even soft small shadow all around this search box. And finally, we have this Facebook example. You will notice all these white boxes have a subtle small bottom shadow, just enough to highlight them compared to anything else on this page. As you can see, shadows create depth and realism that make these interfaces feel tactile and layered. They help guide user attention by implying elevation. So by elevation, I mean it creates an illusion of these objects being lifted up on the page. So higher the elevation, the more visual prominence an object will have on a page. So going back to this Airbnb example, if you compare this search box versus this price box, there is a bigger shadow for this search box compared to this pricing box. So in terms of hierarchy, this search box takes prominence over this pricing box. Before we look at the actual settings, let's quickly go over some shadow basics. So in PowerPoint, we have three types of shadows: outer shadows, inner shadows, and perspective shadows. You can find these settings by right-clicking any of these shapes, then click on Format Object, and then click on this second button here. Under that, click on this Presets button. So the first 9 are the outer shadows. Outer shadows are shadows that are outside of the object. Take a look at this first example here. If I turn on the light from this direction, a shadow will be formed on this bottom right-hand side. This shadow is projected on a 2D surface. If we are to shine the light from this side, it will form a shadow on the opposite end of this shape. If I shine the light directly from top, it should create an even shadow around this shape or image. Finally, if I were to shine this light from this bottom left corner, a shadow should get formed in the top right corner. Inner shadows are formed within the object. So let's make a yellow rectangle that covers our entire slide. Place a white rectangle on top of this. Then if we apply this center inner shadow, this is the effect we will get. It looks as if this rectangle has been carved into this yellow rectangle, and you can get really cool effects with this inner shadow. Perspective shadows are 3D shadows. So there are 5 perspective shadow presets. All of them project a 3D shadow. So here are 3 examples. I have this tree icon here, and I have applied this very last perspective shadow here. For this fence, I have applied this second perspective shadow. And for this number 1, I have applied this third shadow here. In terms of specific settings, we have a total of 23 presets. You just saw there are 9 outer, 9 inner, and 5 perspective shadow presets. You can change the color of your shadows to any color that you want. Typically, black and gray tend to be common shadow colors because in reality also, all the shadows are in the shades of black. Transparency will allow you to see behind the shadows. Size lets you control how large or small your shadow needs to be. With blur, you can have soft, diffuse, or hard shadows. So if you set the blur setting to 0, you will have a hard shadow. But if you crank it up to, let's say, 50 points or so, your shadow will be really diffused and super soft. Angle gives you the direction for your shadow. So a 90-degree angle will create a shadow that's at the bottom. 45-degree angle will create a shadow in the bottom right corner, and so on. Distance dictates the distance of your shadow from the object. So a distance of 0 means that the shadow is attached to the object, and distance of say 10 creates a shadow that's 10 points away from the object. So there is a gap of 10 points between the shadow and the object. Let's look at this specific example for this tree. This one uses perspective lower right shadow. The color of the shadow is black. It has 80% transparency, so if you were to place something behind this shadow, you can still see it. The size of the shadow is 100%. We have a 6-point blur for this. Angle is at 45 degrees and the distance is 1 point. You'll see that there is this tiny gap between the object and the shadow. If we were to make this 0, this shadow will attach to the bottom of this tree. So that's shadow settings for you. Now let's look at each of these 12 presets one by one. First up, we have offset bottom right setting. The color of the shadow is this shade of gray. We use 60% transparency for this. Size is 100%. Blur is 10 points. Angle is 45 degrees. And the distance is 3 points away from the object. The easiest way to apply the shadows is instead of right-clicking, then going to format shape, then clicking on shadows and entering these settings one by one. Just click on this original shape which has this shadow applied to it. Then double click on the format painter and then just click on the object to which you would like to apply this shadow. And you can apply all these settings in one go. Here is another example of this shadow in action with icons. This one is with an image. I have also applied this shadow to this white rectangle. Finally, here is the shadow applied to the text. Since our shadow color is gray, if I applied the gray color to this white font, you can barely notice the shadow because the shadow blends in with this gray rectangle at the back. To make it stand out, I have colored the shadow black for this white text alone. Next up, we have offset center. So here the shadow has been uniformly applied to all the edges of your object. You just saw the settings and what they mean. So it's pretty straightforward. This is how it looks for the icons. This one is with an image. And here is how the text looks like with this shadow applied. The third one is with the offset bottom right as well. The shadow is a little strong here. That's because the blur factor is lower and the color of the shadow is black. This is how it looks with the icons. This one is with an image and we have the text here. The fourth one is a bit different. This one is layered shadows. So what I have done here is I have duplicated this shape one more time. For the top shape, I have applied one set of settings, and for the duplicated rectangle, I have applied another set of settings. So we have this hard shadow and soft shadows at the same time to give us this unique effect. In the design mode, you can see that we have two shapes stacked on top of each other. This will take a little longer to apply, but you won't get this unique effect without this. Here is how this looks with icons. This one is with the image. And this is how the text looks. I have duplicated the text again, as you can see here, and I have applied the shadow settings to the respective text boxes. The fifth one is straightforward. We have the shadow at the bottom. This is how the icons look. This is how the image looks. And here is our text. The sixth option is a unique one. Actually, this is not even a shadow in the true sense. What I have done here is I have duplicated this original rectangle 5 more times, and I've applied different shades of gray to each of these shapes. So this top one has this dark gray applied to it, and then I go down the gray shade towards the lighter side. This is by far the most tedious effect to apply. So you might not want to apply this to a lot of objects. Maybe apply this to 1 or 2 slides where you are communicating something important. So this effect can really make that information stand out. This is how our effect looks with the icons. Applied to the image, we get this effect. And I didn't apply this to text because this effect doesn't translate that well when applied to text. 7th one is the variation of the previous option. Here I have center aligned all my 5 rectangles so that they are at the bottom versus bottom right. This is exactly the same in terms of colors used. Applied to icons, we get this effect. This is how our image looks. One thing to note here is because our background is white, the gray color works. But let's say your background is some other color, then I would recommend instead of using gray, use a shade of the color from your image. Number 8, we have perspective bottom shadow. So far we have looked at outer shadows. Here we have a perspective shadow. So as you can notice here, the shadow is huge. It creates this illusion of super high elevation for our object. One way to spot perspective shadows is the distances are typically way larger compared to outer shadows. With outer shadows, you would have distances that are 10 or less. With perspective shadows, you would have upwards of 20, 25, and even 50 in some cases. So although this rectangle has a distance of 25, if I were to just apply this effect to this large rectangle, for some reason PowerPoint creates a really small shadow for that rectangle. That's why I had to crank up the distance to 50 points just for this large rectangle to get an effect similar to this one. But when I apply these same settings to these rectangles, they look just fine, but not for this rectangle. I don't know why is that. So that's why I have mentioned that this distance is not 25, it's actually 50 points. Here is how our icons look. Same with this image. If I were to keep the distance to 25 points, we can barely see this shadow. To make it visible, you have to increase the distance to 50 points. I did not include the text again for this one because this effect just doesn't render properly with text. Number 9, we have perspective shadow. That's a lot softer compared to the previous one. You will notice the distance is 30 points, so that's a lot, but it does give us this nice soft elevation effect. Here is how our icons look. I don't know about you, but these look really sleek and modern. There is this tactile feel to it. You feel like reaching out into the slide and grabbing these rectangles. Here is how our image looks. Number 10, this is by far the subtlest of shadow effects. This type of shadow is typically used for buttons. Here is how our icons look. Here is our image. And finally, this is how our text looks like. This video won't be complete without covering at least 2 of the presets that PowerPoint gives. So when you have images in PowerPoint, if you go to picture format menu, you have these presets called picture styles that have some really interesting effects you can apply to your photos. And I especially like 2 of them as they are primarily with shadows. First one is this drop shadow rectangle. To get this, go to picture format, click on picture styles, and you can locate this option in the first row, 4th column. You get this effect. However, I find this shadow too dark. So what I've done is I have copied all these settings, but I have changed this color from this dark gray to this light gray to give us this effect. Here is how our icons look. Here is our image. This is how our text looks. And finally, we have center shadow rectangle. You can get this style by going to picture format and locating this option called center shadow rectangle. Here too, I have changed the color from black to a lighter gray to give us this soft center shadow. Here is how our icons look. Here is our image. And finally, this is how our text looks. So that's it for this video. I hope you found this useful. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe for future videos, and I will catch you next time.